Hey everyone, it's Jill the Wandering Stamper. I hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday today. It is beautiful today. The air is a little cooler. It's a great day to create a fall card. So today we're going to make a triple pinwheel tower card. Now I've done a tower card before. This one's a little bit different. It's kind of cool. It's different and you can have a lot of fun with it, making it as elaborate as you want or as simple as you want. So I'm going to take a moment to turn down the camera so I can show you how to make this card. Thanks for joining me today. See you in a second. Okay, so here's what we're going to use today. I pulled some Mossy Meadow, pecan pie, crumb cake, and Cajun craze. I'm not sure if I'll use all of these, but these are the colors that I chose. And we're going to be using the really cool iconic Imagery stamps and dies. This is great because you've got a little something for everything. You've got fall, you've got Christmas, New Year's, birthdays. You could use these candles for birthdays, Hanukkah. You could use the leaves all year round as well as the trees. You've got celebrate and grateful that you could use all year round. You've got these snowflakes for winter, hearts for Valentine's, stars, confetti. I mean, it's just got everything. So really great stamp set. And then these are the dies. Now I've got mine on a magnetic sheet, but there's a couple of tags in here. You've got some of the shapes, the trees, and the coordinating paper. Designer Series paper, actually this die cuts the trees out, which I love. So that's very useful. I love these tags, and then some of the stamped images are cutouts as well. Plus they added these little hearts and these little greenery pieces, which are very useful. And I love that they gave us 3 different size tags. So you've got the large tag that cuts out the, well, celebrate fits on. And then you've got these smaller tags that fit some of the words such as the season or some of the single words. So it's very useful, and I'm sure that it will work with some of our other stamps as well. So we're going to be using that. I haven't decided what embellishments I'm going to use, so I grabbed the pecan pie clear ribboned adhesive back dots. These are really cool. I like these. I bought a second pack because I think I'll be using these a lot during this season. And then I also grabbed the faux glass dots because we have Calypso Coral in our Designer Series paper, and so this might look really cool in there. I don't know. So we're going to set that aside and figure that out later. And this is the Designer Series paper I was talking about. It's called Iconic Celebrations. It comes in, it's a 6x6 Designer Series paper pack that has a little bit of everything. As you can see, I've used it quite a bit. We've got birthday candles, fireworks, Christmas trees. Like I said, the die will cut out these trees. Then we've got candy canes, greenery, we've got champagne glasses and hearts. I mean, you can use this paper all year round. There's some great backgrounds, pumpkins, snowflakes, doves, which would be great for weddings, Christmas, so many things. I love this striped paper. We've got confetti, stars. It's just so many things in this pack of paper. So it's really, really great to get this bundle and then have something you can use all year round. So that's what we're going to be using. I have chosen these 2 patterns of Designer Series paper. So for this card, you want to have your main color for your base, which is cardstock, and then pick out 2 different Designer Series paper patterns. So I decided to, wow, that looks good together too. I've decided to go with these 2. I think that's kind of neat with the checked and the polka dots. So that's what I'm going to use. So, and then I also did some stamping and die cutting ahead of time. I stamped these greeneries in pecan pie, and then I filled them in with the stamp that fills in the leaves by stamping off pecan pie and then stamping on the image so that it's a little lighter than the outline. And I did the exact same thing with the leaves in Mossy Meadow. Very pretty, and I die cut everything. So I don't know how many I'm using, so I just die cut several. Any extras just go in my box. And then I stamped For You in Cajun Craze, which is the color that's in this paper. And I stamped that on some crumb cake cardstock. Just put the 2 words side by side and then use that small little die. So I thought that would be an interesting little focal point. So that's what I did to start out. Let's go ahead and grab our paper cutter and we'll get going on this. So the first thing you want to do is cut your base. Now remember, this is a triple pinwheel tower card, so there's 3 layers of pinwheels and they're going different directions. Very cool card. So we're going to cut this at 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to cut the 5 1/4 here. That way I know I can make 2 cards out of this. By 3 1/2. Okay, so while you have your card base on the 3 1/2 with the 3 1/2 side up here, we're going to do some scoring. So we're going to do, make sure I did 5 1/4. Yes, we're going to do a 1/2 inch, and then 1 1/4 inches, and then 2 inches. And 2 3/4 inches. Just like so. All right, so that's it. So I'm going to set that aside. And then I did the cutting ahead of time for the rest of the pieces because I don't think you want to sit here and watch me cut a million pieces of paper. So you're going to need 12 pieces of that same color cardstock, and they're going to be 2 1/8 inches by 1 3/4 inches. So 12 pieces of that. All right, and then for your designer series paper, you're going to want 3 pieces. You're going to have 2 patterns. So you're going to have 3 pieces of each pattern. That is going to be 2 inches by 1 5/8 inches. So I've got 3 of those and 3 of these. Then you're going to want 6 pieces of each color that are 1 1/4 inches by 1 5/8 inches. So I've got 6 of these and 6 of these, okay? And the 1 5/8 is the height on everything. So if that makes your life a little easier to think of it that way, do so. All right, so that's it. It's not a hard card at all. There's just some cutting to do. All right, let me grab my silicone craft sheet wherever I shoved that earlier. Sometimes I clean up after myself and I don't know where I put things. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is grab that base, and you've got 1 short score line and then 3 big score lines. So go ahead and grab your bone folder because you're going to want to give this a really good crease, and I'm starting out by creasing that 1/2 inch line, and then I'm going to do the next one, and then the next one, and then the last one. So I just want to give it a good crease, burnish it well. All right, so this is going to create our cube for our tower. So what I'm going to do is only put glue on this panel here. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue and just put that down just like so. And then I'm going to fold this in and just fold this piece over it. Okay, and then just give your bone folder, use it to give it a good crease, make sure that glue stays, and then just fold it the other direction as well and give it another crease. You just want this to open easily. So now we've got this little tower. All right, simple, simple. So now what we're going to do is start creating our pieces for the rest. So this is created so that when you have this set on the 1 3/4 inch line, they fit exactly, okay? So you want to have these oriented so they're like this. So the 1 3, the height is 1 3/4, so you want the 2 1/8 inch side to be across the top. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to start out with this one because I wrote on it and I want to make sure it's facing out. So what I do, on the first one, I just kind of lay the paper there so I know where to put the glue. And I'm going to put only glue on the first panel, this first folded section. I need to fill my glue bottle up, it's getting a little low. All right, and you're just going to put that right on the edge, and as you can see, I'm facing my pinwheels to this direction, to the right, and I'm just making sure everything's centered, okay? Now Now that that's pressed down, I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to add glue to my next section. This is a really easy card to make. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just put these on the edges and line everything up. Give it a little push, make sure it's set. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the next panel. So there's going to be 4 on each section, which is why we have 12 pieces of paper. 4 times 3. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay this right here and line it all up. Give it a good press. And then the last section. Okay. Just like so, and everything lines up nicely. All right, so that piece is done, and now all of our pinwheels go in the same direction. So now what we're going to do is reverse the direction. We're going to put them so they go to the left. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start out by putting a piece of paper, a piece of cardstock on the edge so I can see how far down to go on the first one. And I'm just doing the same thing but just the opposite way. So I'm going to just butt that up against the first line of pinwheels. And then I'm going to turn it and just keep on going all the way around. I'm hoping I can get this video done before my husband gets back. He got a ride to go pick up his truck. The truck was, the air conditioner wasn't blowing real cold, so took it in, and hopefully it's fixed. All right, next section. And I'm just doing the opposite that I did before. They're just pointing that way now. Okay, and the last section. By alternating these, you get a really cool pattern. And it wouldn't be very much fun if you made them all go the same direction. All right, here's the last panel. Wiping off some excess glue. All right, so there is our second panel. So now we've got our last panel. So the last panel, we're just going to do the exact same thing. And if you're feeling really snappy, if you've done these a few times, you can actually put glue on both of the panels. And you just want to start out with the panel that is not going to get into your glue first. And then you can do your next panel. So if you want to do it like that, if you've done a few of these and you're comfortable, you can totally do it that way. See, I've got that one there and that one there. Just another little shortcut. But don't do it that way until you've done a few and you're comfortable, because you could get confused and have them going all crazy. So, all right, this one. And this one. Okay, so that is our card base all completely put together. And so what you have is this cool pinwheel tower, just like that. All right, so the next thing you want to do before you start layering I didn't give you the dimensions for this. Before you start layering your designer series paper, you want to build your center sections. So you're going to need 6 pieces of basic white cardstock that are 2 inches by 1 5/8 inches. So I've got those here, and they are going to go down the front and down the back. But we don't want to add our designer series paper tool. We've added those. It just makes it a little less confusing. So let's go ahead and work on decorating this. So this is going to be our front. And I think what I'd like to do is I've grabbed out the leaves. So I think I'm going to do the leaves, and I think I'm going to do the branches and the leaves. So let me grab the branches. Where's my other one? Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to start out with the pecan pie, I think. And I'm going to work on the top first. And I'm just going to add some branches here and there. Just a few. And maybe one more. Just to give it a little focal point. All right, let me put some cleaning spray on my stamp cleaner. Clean that off so we don't forget. All right, so I haven't decided if I'm going to put the fill in there or not. Let's go ahead and do it. It's pretty. So you could fill it by stamping off, or you could use a different color. I think for this, the crumb cake would work, but I think I'm just going to stamp off because that's the way I was doing the other pieces. So to do that, just stamp off and then just line your stamp up as best you can. Try not to put my head in the camera. And it just gives it a nice little light color. And it's pretty easy to line these up, just like that. Just gives it a little more depth. Just like so. Okay, so that looks good. So now I'm going to grab the word grateful, which I think is so pretty. It's such a pretty font. And I'm going to ink that up in Cajun Craze because I want to pull in our Designer Series paper colors. And I'm going to hope I do this straight. You know how I am. Okay. Grateful. Oh, I did it. So good. Okay. That's super pretty just like that. I may just leave it like that. All right, let's set that aside. And then I think for this one, why don't we pull in some of these pieces? What do you think? Let's do that. Let's go ahead and add some liquid glue to these. And I'm just kind of being mindful of, I can trim off what hangs over the side, but I just don't want to have too much hanging over the side. Okay, and maybe some leaves. A lot of my card creation is just winging it. I wing it a lot. Sometimes I don't like what I wing. Other times I do. Most of the time I like it. Once in a while I'm like, not too happy with that. All right, that's good. So what are we going to do with this last piece? All right, let's do the same thing that we did before with the leaves and kind of repeat what we created on the first panel. That seems like a good way to go. So I'm just going to ink this up and just create some pieces like that. Clean that off. Grab my leaves. It's nice when you have a set that does this because you don't have to color if you don't feel like it, and it's just a great way for it to look nice. All right, and since we have these leaves out, why not create a couple? So I'm going to grab the Mossy Meadow and just add a couple. Maybe we'll put one here. And let's see if we can put just a little bit of one over here. Okay, clean that off. And grab our insides. Stamp off. And then just line your stamp up and add that color. I just love how they make that work so nicely because you get a little bit of a white section in there, so it looks nice. So it's kind of self-shades, it shades itself with the ink. Okay, that looks good. All right. So we have Grateful, we have this piece, and then we have this piece. So let's go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back of For You. Two should do it. This is a small tag. Okay. See, we could put it up here too. I think because if I would have put Grateful up a little higher, what do you think? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm going to put it here. All right, let's grab our card front. So now that we have that done, I'm going to go ahead and layer these on with some liquid glue. And it's nice because it layers with just a small border around the middle. I had a lot of fun playing with this. As soon as I saw this in the new mini catalog, I decided to get it because it's always good to have all occasions. And this one is definitely one of those. And see how this kind of goes over? I'm just going to give it a little trim. Just like that. Perfect. And I'm not really concerned about this because of the way it opens, so it's fine. All right. And then we'll go ahead and add some glue on this. So this is the front of our card. So now on the back, my intention is to have space to write a message. So I think with this, I'm just going to put a couple of little faint outlines on it of the leaves, just to give it, just to not have it be plain. So I'm even going to stamp off and make it even lighter than normal. Okay, that's good enough. I just want to give it a little something on it, but still have plenty of room to write, and I didn't want it to be very bright because I want to be able to just write right over it. So that looks good. So now I'm going to just add these to the center. And the nice thing about this too is you don't have to fuss as much as some cards with making sure everything's exactly centered, because there's so much movement on this card. You don't really notice if it's not totally perfect. It's very forgiving. Okay, so there we go. So there's the back, there's the front. So now we want to start creating the rest of our card. So what I want to do, let me get this piece of paper, this underneath it, and move the paper so it quits sliding around on me. So what you're going to do is decide where you want your colored paper. So I think I'm going to use these. What I do is kind of lay it out and take a look. So you've got your short pieces that go on these little panels and your longer pieces that go on these longer panels. So this is how I think I'm going to do this section. So you want to work on the front, flip it over, work on the back, and then I'll show you how to fill it in. So I'm just adding a little liquid glue on these layers. And what I usually do is these short pieces, because they're on the very, very top. That'll make sense to you when you do it. You know, the long pieces tuck under this. So I'm doing these short pieces first. It's just how I like to do it. All right, and then I just kind of pull these out. All right, and now I'm going to turn this card this way and put this one on. This just keeps me from messing it up and putting the wrong piece in the wrong spot and messing up my pattern. Okay, so now I can flip that back over and it's on there, and then I'll flip this over and put these two pieces on. I really love this plaid. It's so pretty. Okay, so now there's the front. So now I'm going to flip it over, and since I have the polka dots in the middle, this time I'm going to make sure that my plaid is in the middle. So I'm going to do plaid here, and I'm going to do polka dots here and polka dots here. So I'm just doing the opposite. Okay, so now we have those big pieces again. So I'm going to pull these out right here, turn my card, put this piece on, okay, and then I'm going to turn this one, and as you can see, there's a pattern that's been created, and that is going to help you put the rest of the pieces in perfectly. Because these are essentially the sides of the card. So now that I have this like this, my last 3 pieces of this pattern are going to go here. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it over, and guess what? You have 3 pieces left. So that is the last 3 pieces of what we cut. I told you it was going to be easy. The hardest thing is figuring out what you want to put on the front and back of your card. And I mean, it's really not that hard. And this card, you could use any stamp set, any designer series paper, any sentiment. It'll work for everything, and it's a great way to use up your designer series paper too. If you have, you know, just a little left and you don't know what to do with it, cut it up. All right, my door has popped open. Hold the thought 1 second. That was weird. Okay, here is our card. So here's the front. Let's go ahead and add some embellishments. We didn't do that yet. Whoops. So now that I have this on, I'm not feeling these as much as I'm feeling these. So let's grab these. These are the pecan pie and clear ribboned back adhesive dots. They have like a little, I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be a ribbon texture. It's kind of like a little grid texture. It's really cool. So let's see. Let's go ahead and put one here and here, and then maybe one here. Okay. All right, get all our stuff out of the way. So here we go. Here's the front of the card, which says "Grateful for you." And I love this designer series paper. It's just so pretty. It sits up on the counter perfectly, just like that. It's very interesting. And then when you turn the card to the back, you get these panels, which are perfect for writing your message on. Super, super pretty. And of course, all the sides look good, and it fits into a regular envelope. So that's our first card. Let me show you some of the other ones I did. This is another fall card. This was kind of my prototype. I used a different set of designer series paper and then did my Grateful for You on the back where I would write the message and added the bling back there. So it's just a little bit different. And then here is a Christmas version. So here's the front, and I used the blue paper with the doves and the gold stars, and it says peace, love, joy. So I kind of created the scenes behind it based on the words. So joy kind of seemed like stars, love kind of seemed like hearts. You get the idea. And then on the back, I created this little candelabra and then put the words together to spell out "Let's light the season." Super pretty, and it'll look really pretty sitting up on a counter just like that. So there's another sample. And then here is a birthday one. It says birthday wishes, and I used the birthday candle paper and the stars, and I just did a whole bunch of stars with stamps. And this is in Moody Mauve and boho blue, I believe. Oh, Misty Moonlight, I think. And then the back of it has some more candles, and I colored the flames in with Wink of Stella, and then added 2 blank pieces to write a message on. And then here's one more Christmas card. This one was really fun. I wanted to use this plaid because I loved it so much. So I die cut some of the stars from the die cuts. I die cut a tree from the designer series paper because remember it has one pattern of paper that has the tree. The die will cut that out. So I cut out that tree, and then I used some of the cherry cobbler and gold ribbon and stamped Light the Season, Peace, Love, Peace, Joy, and Love. And I just added some glue dots to the ribbon and just attached it there. Super pretty, and I left it blank on the back so I'd have plenty of room to write. So there you go. There are 4 samples. So you've got Christmas, you've got fall, and birthday. And this set is great. If you want to have something that you can use all year round, check it out. There's a link on my blog that takes you to my online store where you can shop for any of these products. Don't forget, the mini catalog is only good through the end of the year. So make sure whatever you love, you grab up before it's gone. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you don't already so that you get notification of all my videos. So thank you so much for joining me and getting in the holiday mood with me today while we make this really cool triple pinwheel tower card. I'm Jill the Wandering Stamper, and I will see you next week. Bye!